It's your man DJ Caveman. We back again. DJ IronMonkey in the building as always for another episode of DJ Caveman and IronMonkey talking that shit, where we give you guys our interesting views of a couple of 40-something dudes talking about the shit that goes on in the world. If you notice, we have a special guest on the show today.
Mm-hmm.
Only the second DJ to ever be, third DJ to ever be on the podcast with us. That's like an official DJ legend. You might know him. Some of you know him as Jared, but the world knows him as DJ Jackie Treehorn in the building with us today. Dude's been around for a long time. You might have seen his fiery ass blends on the Facebook Live. Maybe blending the shit that I don't even be thinking about.
The blend competitions.
Blend competitions all over the country. You might check him in a local ballet establishment. As I like to call it, the vertical bar classes that we play music for from time to time. And what up, Jackie? Welcome to the show, man. You're muted, bro. Did you mute yourself? I didn't. Oh, wait. Unmute, Mike.
Yep.
What about now?
Listen.
Are you there? Can you hear us? He can hear us, everybody. We can't hear him. Damn, this was anticlimactic. Did your earpods die, bro? No?
Everything was working smooth in the pregame.
I promise you I didn't. Yeah, right. I promise you I didn't. No. I didn't. I promise you I didn't hit you with the what's that show on ESPN where they be muting motherfuckers?
Around the horn.
Around the horn. I didn't around the horn you, dog.
And Tony Reali.
All right, maybe log out and log back into us. All right. Jackie Treehorn's he's gonna be back. In the meantime, you see the hat? Yeah.
Which one? Which one?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Pistons, Knicks, first round. About to go down. How you feeling about your squad, man?
Hopefully the injuries in that late season little hiccup, everything is cured for the playoffs. Everybody's locked in. Everybody's fitting to do their thing. So,
Treehorn, you back? Can you hear us?
How about now?
There he is.
Yes.
Woo! All right, Treehorn's back. He got his technical difficulties together. While you were gone, I was just talking about my Detroit Pistons, the 5th seed versus IronMonkey's New York Knicks.
We got a little rivalry.
Yeah. With a hat. The hat's a little wrinkly. I might have to order a new one, but I had to pull it out of the archives for today.
Well, that shows how long you've been a fan.
Hey, man, I'm gonna go back to the Bad Boys days. They was losing to the Lakers back in the fucking late 80s, early 90s, and then they got a couple, and then they didn't get a
battling the Celtics too.
Right, and the Celtics. But you already know how I stand on it. Pistons in 5, baby. What's the wager?
I got my Knicks in 6. Damn, I don't know what the wager is gonna be because you've been losing that wager heavily recently.
I won the last one. I think we're even this year.
Yeah, I didn't officially take on that bet because as a good friend, if somebody loses like 4 or 5 years in a row, you don't want to compound the double downs like that.
No, you act like you didn't have to pay for my dinner a couple months ago for the last bet.
It was a different bet though.
I'm just saying the bets get handled. You know what I'm saying?
But that Knicks Piston bet for the past 4 or 5 years, you've been doubling down, and I'm like, nah, man. As a good friend, I can't be an enabler. I gotta call it quits somewhere.
The bet. I've been tagging you, but I've been I told you every day you're gonna get a Shannon Sharp level Pistons in 5. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you saw today's.
No. I was busy offline, but say what, $25 bet?
Sure, 25.
Nah, yeah, keep it square. You know, at least that's one drink and a tip at the bar.
One.
One.
Unless we go to the bowling alley, then it's 2.
Yeah.
Or
If you get
VFW.
domesticated bears.
Or VFW, right? Yeah.
Yep. Oh, damn, VFW, you get fucked up.
Shout out to the VFW where you can buy rounds for $25, boy.
Ooh,
Top shelf.
yeah. Top shelf.
You know,
that watered down Henny.
Love DJing parties at the VFW. You're like, what do you want? I'm like, let me get a Kettle One and vodka, tequila on the rocks. And she's like, $6. And you're like, whoa.
Oh.
$6.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Here's a $10 tip on top of that.
Right?
With the heavy 8 count.
Dude, I bought a kettle soda. I bought a vodka cran. I bought 2 beers at the bowling alley. That shit came to like $30.
You can't beat that.
I was like,
and then bar pizza.
Right?
Yeah. You know what? That's one slice of pizza at the arena. Not even with fries.
Not even.
And it's a small slice.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
the Elio's pizza shit.
Last time I went to the AMP, I got a double and it was $54. $54. I'm like, dude, you're kidding me, right? I didn't even know what to say. And I'm like, all right. Yeah,
I'm the asshole to be like, yo, I get free refills with this? The fuck this price so high for? Like,
and you wonder
what's going on?
You wonder why everybody pre-games before they go to the fucking games now and shit. They go get fucking trashed at whatever local bars next to the stadium. And then they go to the stadium because that's
the only way to survive.
Right? Colonel Sanders, Deion Sanders, Barry Sanders, Pistons and 5.
Oh boy. It would have been helpful. It would have been helpful if they were all Detroit players, because Deion Sanders never played for Detroit. Come on now.
That's all right. Neither did Colonel Sanders. But motherfuckers like fried chicken. And so
wow. It's not, you can tell it's not February with that Black History joke.
That wasn't a Black History joke. People like fried chicken.
Oh yeah. Oh, you said people. Okay. That was my bad.
I mean, Colonel Sanders slangs the chicken for everybody.
Yeah. Even though he did steal the recipe from a black woman, but that's totally beside the point.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
Right.
I actually got the recipe. Low key. I got the recipe. Low key. I gotta dig it up from somewhere. I've never tried it, but I got the recipe. I got the 12 herbs and spices.
Oh yeah.
Oh shit.
Is that still a thing?
Yeah.
Now
so we got
the ingredients.
We got the bet in place, man. We got Jackie Treehorn on the chat. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you hit that like and subscribe. If you're watching us on Facebook Live right now, make sure you go to YouTube and hit that like and subscribe after you watch us. Tell a friend and tell a friend. If you're watching on Twitch, say what up. The chat is open. You know what I'm saying? On all the situations. Shout out to everybody that be in the chat every week. Comment, like, subscribe, tell a friend, all that good jazz. But let's get to our special guest, Mr. Treehorn. Tell us first. Let's get to the origin story. When did you start DJing? What was like? Do you remember the first records you blended together? Like,
like who inspired you?
I do. Actual records. I started playing when I was 15 years old for like junior high dances, church dances, whatever. I got my first set of turntables probably by 17, maybe 18. And I had 2 copies of This Beat Is Hot. Get it up, get to the rhythm, get to the rhythm. And there was an instrumental and a regular one. And I would just try to blend those 2 records back and forth. And just like make it, because you could set the pitch the same. You didn't have to worry about like things changing, but you could hear the beat and match them. So I did that for a long time, and then I started just going out and buying house records. So I kind of changed my direction there. But I did like private parties for a long time. I'm 44 now, so we're coming up on, I think this will be 30 years of playing music in front of people. You know, and I after the church dances and stuff, I locked myself in my basement for years before I ever played a nightclub. But yeah, in the church dances or whatever. When I remember when the CDN 24, the Newmark CD players that had cues and pitch, and I would be mixing in my headphones while like dinner would be going on at a wedding, and I'd be sitting there and I'd be doing stuff or whatever, and like Michael Bolton would be playing through the actual speakers. You know what I mean? The kid that I used to play with hated it. But I always wanted to play music the way that I heard it in my ear. You know, like I would hear things and be like, oh, that would be really cool if you did this, or if I could do this. So I started playing music because I wanted to mash that stuff up.
So who inspired you though? Who was like the DJ? Or what inspired you to become a DJ?
There was a local wedding DJ at the time. We were playing all vinyl. And I always, admired kind of the showmanship of what he was doing at that time. Like, you know, he wasn't being technical and he wasn't doing whatever, but he knew all the right songs to play. He was really good as an MC. So it was great to watch somebody command a room in that way that like you don't get to do with other platforms. You know what I mean? Like with DJing, you know, you're saying, okay, if I play this Gloria Estefan record, it's going to make the room do a certain thing. If I play Dreams and Nightmares, it's going to make the room do a certain thing. So to be able to control people's reactions by the way and what kind of music you're playing is the ultimate like manipulation, if you can think of it that way. You know, like you can make people upset, you can make people happy, you can make people cry, depending on how you play music. You know, so I always thought that was cool. So I mean, it was a wedding DJ that got me into like the whole controlling a room type of thing.
You remember their name by any chance?
Dave Barabee. Yeah. I still know him.
Nice.
He actually, it's funny. Every time I see him, literally every time I see him, either he says or I say something about his record collection because I want it. You know what I mean? I eventually, well, I mean, he hasn't touched it in 30 years. You know, I mean, it's literally been, I know exactly where it is. I could go there if I needed to. And I'm like, Dave, come on, man, give me that record. He's like, maybe it will be in the will. Maybe it will be in the will. I'm like, I don't want it at that point. I want it right now. I want to start pulling. I mean, that was the late 80s, you know, early 90s.
His collection got to be crazy.
Every record you could possibly imagine, you know, and I mean,
Heavy Phil Collins.
I was gonna say, like those days when you used to have like get 5 of your boys, 6 of your boys to help you carry crates in.
We had those wooden boxes that fit on top of the subs, and the subs had wheels, and that's how there was 4 and 4. So figure something, you know, 4 records wide by probably 70 records deep. You know what I mean? And that was 2 boxes that fit in, and we would wheel it in and get it on top of a table, and you know, everything was labeled, you know, dance music, you know, line dancing, you know, like buckwheat was, you know, like I just remember playing stuff like that. And that would literally, he would be like my Africa Bambaataa, you know, he would be like, play this record next, play this record next. And I'd have to cue it up and, you know, play it at, you know, 16, 17 years old with a PV mixer with nothing, literally nothing.
Those are the glory days, right? And so like now everything's like MP3 and beat matching and all this other stuff, and you don't have the vinyl. Your vinyl's not getting warped. Yeah, I mean you can carry 60,000 songs in your pocket. You know what I mean? You don't have to, like DJs don't. I mean, you still can set up your crates, right? But it's not, for me. It's not the same as like having to, like sometimes I miss. Like don't get me wrong, I love the lightness of it all. You know what I mean? Because you have to like decide what 100 records you gotta bring with you for every show.
Yep.
Correct.
You know, damn, I'm doing this kind of party. I'm bringing these records. I'm gonna play these. This is my smash. This is my smash crate. I always carried my smash records like in the bag. You had the record bag. Then
just
you had like five crates.
The showstoppers.
You know, these are the shits I'm playing at towards the end of the night. You know, and then like you see like the DJs, the queue up wasn't like just a playlist on the side. It was like you had to pull the records out and shit. You had to pull them out. And You had all your records was queued up down the line, like twisted in that way so you could see it. You're like, yeah, I'm gonna play these next 5, 6 records. People
And
give
then
you
you got to
requests.
turn them to make sure that you don't replay records.
Yeah, because you definitely don't have time to go through. Like somebody comes with a request, you got to put that shit up early because you don't got time to be fucking flipping through. Now you just type that shit in. Like, how you feel about
the anxiety of a skipping record. Oh my god.
But that was the
Because
hard thing.
everything is cool and you're looking through shit and then all of a sudden it starts to skip. You're like, yeah, yo, what the fuck? Somebody bumped the table, somebody dancing too heavy, like the big chicks is getting it in. It's like, yo, that anxiety new age DJs really don't know about.
But that's what made that more special. Like if it did skip,
Yes.
you had to figure out a way to fix it. And like,
The pivot.
it wasn't always good. Sometimes it was spinning back a record and dropping the other record at the right time or whatever it was. But like, you talk about the skip, especially when you're in the middle of a transition. And now what? Now you don't even know where you are on that record. And like you said, I miss it, but I don't miss it. And
right.
I just played a vinyl party a few weeks ago, and I literally pulled records for like 4 months. I would go downstairs, I'd start looking through records, I'd start playing, I'd start cleaning records, and even with what I brought, I probably brought about 250 records for a 4-hour party. Now, this was everything from Fleetwood Mac to Tevin Campbell. I had an hour and a half R&B set just in case, which I actually ended up playing and it worked, and thank God. But some of that stuff is like, when you were a vinyl DJ, you only bought the records that you were going to play. You didn't buy the record. Like I would have never bought a Britney Spears record. I probably would have never even bought a Lil Wayne record back in that day. You know what I mean? Like, so if I was in those types of circumstances, unfortunately, I wouldn't have been the DJ for you. I was playing underground house music at that time. So like, if I paid $14 for a record, I have hundreds of records that I played and never even seen a club because I wasn't really playing clubs at that time. I was just collecting and practicing and whatever. But you talk about requests, and it's like, when you were playing vinyl, if you were somebody like Just Nice or Fred, or you're playing in certain clubs where you're probably going to have to play those top records. They were also getting those records. You know what I mean? Like people were giving them those
the
records.
record pools changed the game.
Yeah,
late 90s.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Right. When they were sending you this stuff, and if you hooked up with somebody like Def Jam or Bad Boy or whoever was putting out those bangers, like you were the first.
You get
guy
the
to
exclusives.
Yeah, of course. And it might not even be a thing for another 6 months. And now you had that you could break records because nobody had it. Or whatever.
Yeah.
It was just it was. I do miss it as well, but I don't because like at first I was very like. No MP3, and that was especially with like acapellas and stuff too. Like if I had an acapella on vinyl and you didn't, I had it and you didn't. Now if you don't have it, you can stem it. You can go out on the internet and find it. And it's like, my blends aren't any different than yours because we have the same records. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, back then it was you were special because of that white label or because of, that connection that you had. And that's why you were getting booked. And that's why I didn't get booked at that time. I remember
busy.
I remember Jimmy B one time. We were at Bootleggers, and a friend of mine, he was playing AV8s. That's when like Be Faithful and all that stuff just came out, and you could only get it on vinyl. And we were playing like junior high dances at the time, and we're like, this stuff is bananas. You're playing these tracks that at first I was thinking, how are you mixing that? Like it's impossible to do what you're doing right now. And then I found out that it was an AV8 or whatever that, at the time. And I was like, all right, well now how do you get it? And he burnt us a CD with all the AV8s on them. And we were the only kids like in my town or whatever that could have that
Mhm.
kind of stuff. So when we pulled it out at junior high dances, this is like years and years ahead of what these kids were even thinking about. You know what I'm saying? And it was just it was different times. Now it's if you find that producer that's low key and they're making something that nobody else is making, now you're getting some cool stuff from that person. But once they blow up online or blow up wherever else, then everybody's got the same tracks again.
Everybody's got everything now. Yeah, that's the one thing. Like you touched on an interesting point, because that's the one thing I used to miss too. Because going to these out, being on the radio in college, got me access to like the record pools, and like shout out to James Lewis, used to do the tastemaker events and shit. And you'd come down and you'd leave with like a fucking stack of records that nobody had yet. And then when I was in Detroit, I did street team promotions for Sony, so I got access to a lot of shit that nobody else had yet. Not everything was good, but you had
Kobe Bryant.
Come on, man.
Kobe Bryant.
Let's not slander the dead, man. He knows what he did. He knows what he did. But he can't defend himself. So let's not do that. But
that's true.
But now, like you said, everybody got it, man. Like if I hear a blend that you do, I could go recreate that blend in my house. I don't gotta call you and be like, yo, let me get that acapella so I could do my own blend. I could just blend that shit and be like,
and that door's open though.
Oh,
if you ever hear an acapella, you got it just as much as I have it.
But it's like, before I used to be like, damn, I gotta really know the DJ to get that acapella, because I can't find it anywhere.
Right.
Even like record stores would be like, nah, I gotta save this for Fred. Or I gotta, you know what I mean? Like if it wasn't like a big name dude, you know what I mean? If you wasn't in the clubs, if you didn't have those connections, you didn't have it. You just didn't have it. So
you didn't have a cousin or like a girlfriend's brother. You ain't getting it.
You really had to be in the know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But as we talk about MP3s, don't you got a single out?
No, that wasn't mine.
That's not yours?
No. JJ Arroyo produced that.
Shout out to JJ.
Yeah, shout out to JJ. Yeah, and it's funny because when I posted it the first time, I kind of get the vibes that people were like, yo, congratulations. And I was like, nah, that's not me. I mean, honestly, JJ hooked me up years ago with Who Is Jackie Treehorn track, which is like, it sounds like Rodney Dangerfield saying it. I'll play it for you or send it to you or whatever. But then years later, he literally just hit me up and gave me, there's like 5 or 7 versions that are out, and it's all like one's a punk rock version, one's a disco version, one's a like a festival version or whatever. But he's starting a new label, and I love JJ, and I that stuff makes me smitten. Like I played it for my family, and they're like, "Oh my god, your name's in a song," and I'm like, "That is pretty cool." You know what I mean? Like I don't normally take compliments well, and for him to do that is the ultimate compliment, and I really, really appreciate him. And honestly, like I might collaborate with him because I'm not on the production side, but with somebody's hands doing my thoughts, I might be able to add something to something. So we might do a remix or something. But yeah, that was super dope that he did that.
JJ, holla at me, man. We got to get you on the show too, brother.
That's on Manifest.
Nice. Your drop that you dropped before all of your blends, is that Armani?
That's Johnny Armani, and then my kids as well.
Nice.
Yeah, R.I.P. Johnny, man. He was I won a contest for him. I don't remember what it was, but you know how wild he was, and we were all like I don't remember what it was for, but one of the things that you got from winning the contest was a customized drop. And I mean, I've been using that for 15 years, at least 15 years, I think every time I do it in my head, it just reminds me of him and who he was. And I didn't know him personally, but I worked with him for quite a while. And he was always trying to help me out. He booked me at tons of places when he was trying to get the radio show off, and he was doing his thing what was Ruckus's first radio station?
Oh, the Music Fiend.
Yeah,
Yeah, Music Fiend.
Yeah,
Yep.
Oh, you know what? Actually, I think it might have been a competition on the show or whatever. But he was always super cool and always tried to put me into places uh, where I wasn't already. So
All right, shout out to Johnny, man. We had a podcast together for a little while, and we did a lot of work. We did a lot of work. So it's always cool to hear the blend and to hear you like playing that drop. It's like, all right, it's cool. I want to get into something a little controversial right now. We're talking about the records versus the MP3. You already know the MP3 is just lighter, just makes it easier and shit. But the fact that MP3s is out there in a way that like everybody now has access. It's similar to me to like when Pro Tools came out and then everybody was a rapper and everybody had a studio and everybody was an engineer and making music in their basement and shit. But now with MP3s, we got all these dudes that are DJs now. Do you feel like clubs are as important as they were for the fame, for lack of a better term, of DJs? Like you don't need to be in the clubs to be like a famous DJ right now. There's guys that's just only DJing online. And then now like clubs are like DJs in the clubs are like they get treated like running backs in the NFL. Like you know what I mean? They want like what used to be like a $500, $600 night is now like not. Like what's your take on like the fate of like clubs just going to like
I have an actual wrinkle. I have a wrinkle to that as well, but I want to hear the answer first.
I mean, here's my thing. I don't think the clubs are as important to the DJ as they used to be, right? Like, let's say when we were coming up, I would spend my time flyering and doing street promotion while the headliner was on. I mean, I missed more shows that I went to for free because I was outside marketing so that I could maybe get a chance to play in that room when there was not a single soul there, but played before somebody. You know what I mean? Like I played before Scribbles one night, and again, I played. There was nobody there, and I played for free, and I came on and I did my thing. But like when Scribbles came on, I went back outside and I was flying cars all night. You know what I mean? So it's like, I for the opportunity to just say that I played with Scribbles was like I was out there doing the hustle work, right? So, but now all you need is, like you said, a couple MP3s, a $300 controller, and a decent following online, and that can get your ball rolling, right? And I think what started that was the whole Pauly D era with when Del Vecchio first got on the show, like. I'll tell you, as a Rhode Island-based DJ, I hated on him for a long time because I was like, "Oh, I'm better than him," and I've heard him play, blah blah blah. And like in reality, it wasn't what I was playing that was making me not a superstar like he was. It was the platform he was on, and I had to like retrain my brain not to hate on something that I wouldn't really want to do anyway. Like, would I want the fame like that? Maybe for a little while, but that goes away. Would I want the money? Of course. And would I want the girls chasing me? Not really. You know what I mean? So like at that whole, like I had to reevaluate what I was striving for. And so like that was kind of right before the internet boom of like now everybody can be a popular DJ. I'm sure everybody's seen that Kid That Blends. He's got his records are like Wheel of Fortune records, and he's like, what would it be like if I blended Morgan Wallen with, Notorious Big? And like as corny as he is, he's pretty good. You know what I mean? I can't hate on that. And like to make a blend every day, that's tiring, man. Like I'm a perfectionist, so like when I hear stuff. Every blend that I post, I've made 7 of them. I've made 7 blends that I'm like, which one am I going to post, right? And I post 1 out of the 7, and then I got to make another 7 the next time I do it. And that's not an exact number, but I might make a couple, and it becomes strenuous, and it becomes something that you're like, Like, what am I going to do next? So now when I see people like that, I'm like, wow, he's still doing it. He's been doing it for, 2 years straight now. Eddie B. Swift, he comes out with stuff all the time. And I'm like,
Yeah.
like he's got some dope ass blends. But I'm like, how can you like even know that many records? You know what I mean? How do you know that many acapellas? Not even how many. How do you know that much stuff? So I no hate for online guys, right? And
Mm.
do I wish I had that type of clout? Sure. Do I wish that they would have gone through the ranks the same way that we did, picking records and whatever? It's funny when you sent me the itinerary. I thought to myself, like, I wouldn't want to be a vinyl DJ ever again. You know what I mean? I wouldn't want to be that guy who is sitting
Mm.
at the record store for 5 hours a day, 2 days a week, and buying records and being nervous that if you step on them or hit the needle and it scratches it, it's useless.
Mm.
And it's like I'm glad I
Mm-hmm.
came up in that era because it gave me the skills that I have, but to have to do that again today, I'm just not really even feeling it. Like, if I
See what. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, because see, the one thing with vinyl, like people that came up DJing vinyl, what it's like is like riding the hoopty. And now, because everything is so much easier with the consoles and everything, it's like driving like a Rose. It's so much
Smooth,
easier
right?
because you have that skill set where the new age people are just button pressing and knob twisting. It's not really listen. They're only basically playing a lot of the popular things because the club scene has changed. Because what Daryl was bringing up as well, and what you pointed on, is with the internet DJ that really boomed with COVID, where
Right.
they had a lot of at home thing, especially with Club Quarantine with D Nice. He was
Yes.
the one that really popularized it.
Smashed it. Smashed it.
So with that, it was convenience, and people were like, look, I could basically do the same thing, or I could get like a YouTube page and do it like that. Because me personally, I'm not really a club guy, but what I recognize is the club has changed, where now it's more like hookah spots. And now with the introduction of speakeasies and lounges, it gives people different options and wrinkles where it's not just playing top 40 hip hop songs now, because you're already getting it on the radio and nobody's really breaking records like that in the club like they used to do back in the day,
Yo,
because everything is
we need to bring back
homogenized.
clubs though, man. Nobody's dancing anymore, man. We need to
No,
bring.
people don't go out to dance, they go out to smoke hookah and be seen. That's all.
They go out to Instagram, and you know what? Like
Yeah,
last night,
they just want to be seen.
I had a gig that ended at like 11, so it was in Cranston. Um, I was halfway, or I had left, got on the highway, and I was like, you know what? It's kind of early. I'm gonna go to Providence. So I drove by Medici because I'm playing there on Thursdays for their comedy shows, and I'm booked a couple of times on the weekend. So I just, I like to show face at clubs that I'm gonna play at because it gets me familiar with the bartenders, it gets me familiar with the staff, and it kind of helps me feel out the room. I drove by there. There's 250 people in line, at least 250
Mm,
people. Now, this is all 21, maybe even younger, maybe 19 plus. Who knows? But not a crowd that I would be interested in standing in the middle of the room of. You know what I'm saying? So I was
mm,
like, good for them for being busy, but not my cup of tea. The other side of the club is a lounge, which they're kind of striving for 30 plus. Now, I mean, I'm 44 years old. For me to I want a Neil and Thread type of vibe. I want a Marasco's type of vibe. I want a 39
mm,
West type of vibe. I'm not trying to be in, like you said, be in that big nightclub, whatever. But I do want to see people doing their thing, and like,
mm,
I've gone by Marasco's a couple times when Fred's there. And I mean, Fred to me is, somebody that I watched growing up and was like, when I grow up, I want to be like him. And now we're friends, which is crazy to me.
mm,
You know what I mean? Like knowing people like Buck and Lefty and these guys that I like literally would be like, I'd be starstruck when I met them. You know what I mean? And now I walk into a building and Buck will call me out in front of 500 people on stage. And I'm like, like that's crazy to me. Like that's the only thing I ever wanted was I wanted I wanted my peers to notice that I was pushing forward to do my craft, right, or whatever. So back to Medici, 250 people in line, sold out night, and I'm watching the videos from the night. And you talk about not dancing. This is a room full of people who are there for the scene, which is okay,
Mm-hmm.
but there is no scene. You know what I mean? There's no, like, at least again, I came from the underground house music scene, so ecstasy
Mm.
and partying and night, like dark rooms, like those are the types of rooms that I enjoyed being in. And you left there and it was an experience. Everything that
Right.
you walked out of there with was
Yes.
like, wow, I met these new people. I saw this cool thing. This DJ did this thing. Like, I'd watch Bad Boy Bill, or these people do tricks with house music that I thought could only be done with hip hop music. And now people are like, and I left there and I talked about it for months. And like, I don't really feel like the nightclubs cater to that anymore. Back to your point, is that like it's bottle service, it's hookah. I hate hookah lounge. I don't like smoky rooms. I don't even like. I mean,
Yeah.
I go to weed events, but sometimes it's too much. I gotta go outside. I'll be having a panic attack because you've been breathing marijuana smoke for the last 2 hours. You know what I mean? And it's like I don't even
And
remember where I am.
and half grabber.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Wow.
that's a
It
whole
depends
other.
where you go.
That's a whole other. That's like putting ketchup on a steak, man. Shout out to everybody doing the weed event. So I DJ'd an event, and the same thing. I was baked, and I'm like, how am I gonna
Nice.
DJ right now? Like
Yeah.
just
Mm.
from the second hand is insane. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
man, I definitely feel like like you said, like clubs, the energy is not there. I feel like it used to be like, and for I'm old, so I'm gonna say some old guy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Cell phones have ruined socialization because everybody's shooting an Instagram reel instead of like having fun. You know what I mean? Like nobody's having fun anymore, and I think that kind of
Yeah.
puts DJs in a space where you're like, damn, am I rocking this party or not?
Or you
Mm.
have to rock that party so that
Well, you
like
got
it almost becomes a
the
if
goal is to
people
make
are
them put their
videoing
phones
you,
down.
wow, that's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah. Everybody's like, oh.
Think
So
about
so
this. Well,
basically that. Mm,
the selfie stuff, yes, but the them filming you. I went to go
Well, yeah,
see
that part's dope.
but that's weird. You know what I'm saying? Like to
mm,
me,
Yeah,
that's weird. Like especially like I've gone to see like Z Trip or Qbert or whatever, and everybody in the front row
mm,
has got their video on it. And I'm like, if I was Qbert right now, I'd be like, come on, man. Like I want to do my thing, but I don't want to have to do my thing. Like when somebody pulls out their phone, now I'm doing tricks, I'm doubling up records, I'm doing echoes because I don't want to just be standing there with my hands in my pockets. So like I feel like I have to like puff up my chest if somebody's taking a video of me, right? And
mm.
again, that's kind of weird with having to do that. When you're doing that, you know that what you're doing is catching their attention, right? So, like, at the same time as I don't want them doing
Yeah.
that, that's like a head nod to be like, like obviously,
you
and
smashing
you're
it
not
right
doing
now.
it unless they're mocking me. You know what I mean? If they're mocking me, then that's different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. Oh man, how terrible would that be? You're out there
Yeah.
killing. You're killing it, and they're videoing you, and then you see the reel later on, and they're just like, "Look at this guy, fucking
I know.
Yeah.
terrible."
Look at DJ Santa Claus. Like
DJ Fat Ass.
yeah, Santa Claus in off season. Like, come on, man. Like, come on, man.
Hey,
Shout out,
I
shout out
thought
to
no,
y'all was gonna do me right. Y'all
not
did me
kidding.
dirty.
That's actually happened before. The Santa Claus thing. Oh, this is what Santa does in his off time.
Yeah,
Whatever.
yeah, yeah.
First of all, that beard
Yeah,
is
you know.
epic, and I'm jealous that I can't grow a beard like that. Shout out to everybody in the
Yeah.
chat. Shout out to the homie Pete. What up, Pete? Pete came skating the other day. He looked like a small baby deer on roller skates, but keep practicing,
My
Pete. Shout out to
my
Jen in the
knee is
chat.
too bad for that one leg stroke, man. And then my groin be hurting me. Too old for that shit. Nah, man. Nope.
That's how you stay young, man. That's how you keep the thighs. You got to get the legs ready for the summer, baby. Hoochie
You're
daddy
right.
shorts. Hey,
Those
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Jared,
but not on skates. Not on
Jared,
skates. I'm too grown to
for
be
hoochie
doing
daddy shorts?
splits.
Are you for the hoochie daddy shorts or against the hoochie daddy shorts for the summer? You're gonna DJ with the little shorts on, like
I
Reno
still wear
911.
shorts. I still wear shorts that go past my knees.
I saw
Yeah.
hoochie daddy shorts. Okay.
No.
So wait.
They go past his knees.
Oh, past his knees.
He got the long cargos on.
I'm still wearing cargos. Yeah.
Yeah, he got the old Michigan shorts.
Yeah.
Hey, yes.
You got the Fab
If
Five
I get a
shits.
BBL,
The Fab Fives.
maybe I'll get the Hoochie Daddy
Fucking
shorts.
crying. He said the fucking.
No, but Daryl, this is the thing with the Hoochie Daddy shorts. Are you gonna be wearing like them boat shoes with no socks? Like what's the footwear and the sock wear looking like? Like,
First of all, it's always high socks during the day because I work outside, bro. You know what I mean? And last year
those
I had
high
my
socks with the hoochies.
high socks with the hoochies, baby. It's all about the thighs. I need all the attention to go to the thighs. So when
Black socks or potty socks?
It depends, man. I'm old, man. I be wearing the fucking the compression socks right now in the summertime.
Some Argos.
Compression socks.
But the sock game
for the varicose veins.
I walk all day, baby. I got to take care of my shits, man.
I understand. No hate.
You know,
what
my
kind
only
of
thing is like,
do you use?
It depends. Right now I'm in some Nikes, but you know, I get the good shoes. I spend a lot of money on my work shoes because
Nikes is very vague, Daryl. Are you in them low cut Air Force Ones?
You can't deliver mail in Air Force Ones, dog. It's not.
Oh no. I'm saying with the Hoochie Daddy shorts. I'm trying to figure out like the.
It's different looks, man. When I'm out delivering the mail, you know, fulfilling the daydreams of all the soccer moms and stay at home nannies. You know, it's the high socks, so the attention goes right to the thighs. You know, with you gotta have the footwear is regulated at the post office, so sometimes it's a boot. You know what I mean? It's a hiking boot, but sometimes it's like a Hoka style shoe. You know, it all depends. And then the socks, I got to be careful with the socks because by the end of the summer, I got like an ombre tan. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like my legs like different colors all the way down. You know what I mean? So you
got a Hank Hill.
Yeah, man.
You get a new flag gear every year from the post office.
Well, postal gear is wildly expensive for no reason. So yes and no.
Seriously.
You know what I mean? You get a couple pieces.
I've seen them prices.
They don't provide them for you?
They give us the stipend, but so imagine I'm like, yo, I'm gonna give you $500 a year to buy all the clothes you need for your job, but then I charge you $100 for pants.
Right. And it's
I saw $180. I saw $180 for winterized pants. Yeah. I was like, $180 pants.
Like my jacket, my super coat that I wear when it's like raining and snowing is like a $400 jacket.
Yeah.
And you have to buy that or no?
Well, you have to have official postal gear.
Right. So you can't go with your t-shirt on.
Yeah. No, it's got to be a postal
t-shirt.
No. Like I can't wear this.
How come I see dudes sometimes in street clothes?
It depends. Well, they're either new or they're on a rural route. So like the guys who deliver mail like on the countryside or in rural areas, they don't have a uniform standard. So it's a little different. But they still like buy shit so they can identify themselves as postal workers. But you know, they can wear the cutoff shirts and shit like that. I can't wear the cutoff shirts in the city. I gotta look like the official Cliff Clavin mailman situation.
Yeah, because you can't have people be like, "Yo, who's this motherfucker strolling up to my house?"
Especially,
like,
I work in a very affluent neighborhood. I can't just be roaming around checking mailboxes, checking mailboxes.
Yeah, because you fit the description, all right. You fit the description, all right.
The police have rolled up on me before, sir. Oh, yeah. Did you see me get out of the mail truck, officer? Like I work, like I carry my badge. So, but it happens. So
the neighborhoods with the old grannies out the window through the little thing.
The neighborhood watch is official.
Are you for real right now?
Yeah.
You've been stopped?
Yes.
That's insane.
Dude, shout out. Like I was actually out one time. You know, my lady at the time, she pulled up. She was like, "Yo, what's up?" He was on the road, and while I was talking to her in my mailman outfit, somebody pulled up on her and was like, "Ma'am, are you okay?" I'm in my mail uniform. The mail truck is behind her car. We're talking. Yeah. It all depends on the area you work in. But
Yeah.
Delivering the mail is a fantastic job some days, but especially
It's
because
good to be well identified.
you definitely gotta work. Yeah, you gotta make sure that they know who you are. Especially in the smaller towns and the more affluent communities where they're not used to guys like me walking around up and
Do you ever
down.
talk to people's Ring doorbells?
No, but I talk to people's dogs and babies all the time.
But I'm saying, like, if you pull up to somebody's house, you don't say hi to them in the Ring doorbell?
Nah, that's weird to me.
I get myself in trouble.
It's creepy. It's creepy because only if I would I've fallen in front of people's houses and then been like, damn, I'm on somebody's Ring doorbell. They're just laughing at me on their Ring doorbell camera and shit. But
or call them and ask them for the footage. Be like, yo, this would be really good content. I'm gonna
I need that. I need that.
I'm gonna need that.
Bro, I felt
for
like the bowling
insurance
alley.
purposes.
I felt like the bowling alley one time. I left my booty on my shoe. I forgot to take it off, so my foot didn't slide, and I just straight fell, busted my ass. They would not give me the video because they thought I was gonna like sue them or something. I guess I just wanted to post that.
Wait, hold on. Let's get back to the booty thing. You have to go in and put booties on to make a delivery.
No. I fell at the bowling alley.
And you forgot to put what?
So bowling shoes have a slide on the bottom, but if they get wet, they get sticky. So you can't let your booty get wet. So you can't let your shoe get wet. So they have little booties that you put on the shoe, on the bottom of the shoe, so you can like go to the bathroom or like walk around to the bar, and then your shoes don't get wet on the bottom, making it unsafe for you.
All right, that makes sense. I thought you were delivering mail and you brought in to go into the building. You had to put booties on.
Oh no. So we've reached the point. Jackie, you've been on. We definitely appreciate you coming on and topping it off with us. It's rare that we get a DJ on.
Yes.
And we have an opportunity to ask these questions and get I play out, but I haven't really played out in a while. I really just do weddings and that type of thing. But and I'm not really like doing the blends and all of that. So it's good to have a different perspective. We work, like I said, at the adult ballet.
I love that you call it that.
Yeah, and I'm over at the Speakeasy at Justine's first Thursdays every month. So
on Thursday,
like it every Thursdays, yeah. First Thursdays of every month. So my thing is I don't really do the blends. I just try to keep it more of a speakeasy vibe because, like we was talking earlier, there's so many DJs that are basically clones of each other. Is just what the club allows. There's no real variety. So I try to offer something somewhat different.
Sure,
but it's tough because people aren't really accustomed to it. But it's what people actually ask for, especially in our age group, where it's like, look, I'm not trying to be seen. I'm just trying to go out and just chill and relax and vibe out without the cameras and everything like that. Like, put the cameras away. We adults. Let's talk. Let's chop it up.
I'm gonna find us a day party. DJ Caveman, DJ Jackie Treehorn day parties coming soon.
That's what adults need, though.
We're gonna do some adult shit, some 5 to 10 type shit. You know what I mean?
Let the sunset in the background.
Come after work, have some drinks and some food, and fucking, get it cracking before you go home to your wife. But I wanted to ask you, like, as a guy who's out in the clubs, like I used to be out in the clubs, and then I was more of a radio guy, right? So my transition into the clubs, into the ballet was a lot smoother, especially as like a wedding guy. What was your transition like for you specifically, like coming in from like playing out at like nightclubs and raves and all that, and then like coming into the ballet arena?
It's funny. Some of the house moms and I have conversations, and the first time I said something about being a real DJ, like I had to kind of put my foot in my mouth for a second. I mean, as far as I know, Freddie and Mike aren't real. I say real DJs; they're not club DJs, and the rest of us are, and like we understand that like reading a room and putting things together in a way that are going to take people from a sitting, chilling type of vibe to a dancing, partying type of vibe, then back down to a chilling vibe so that we can get them out of there, right? Now, with the club, I had never done announcing before. I had never had to corral girls the way that we do. So, like, realistically, I don't consider what we're doing DJing. I think that we're more organizing and maybe we're in an operations type of role that we're curating a music, we're hosting, and we're also, you know, moving people around or whatever. And that was hard for me to like grasp the side of like what I'm playing doesn't really matter as much. But now that I'm a little bit more comfortable, I am starting to curate my sets a little bit differently where I'm thinking of songs that particular girls like and vibe to, and I'm trying to cater to that. Like, I know that we could just go out there and play whatever we want, right? And nobody there cares what music you're playing. The girls might complain sometimes, but realistically, the patrons that are there don't care what you're playing. But if subconsciously we can tap into their heads and play things that are maybe a little bit more geared towards fun. If you're having fun, you're spending money. You know what I mean? So like I'm trying to take the whole like DJing side of it and also try to inject that into what we're doing. Like bartenders, girls, you're like, oh, you played so good tonight. And I think to myself, like, I didn't do anything tonight. You know what I mean? I literally just clicked buttons and let these tracks run out and whatever. And I'm like, imagine if I put more effort into it, maybe I could make something different out of it. So, like, the transition for me was hard because I was going from curating sets from a different way, to now reading a room and being like, okay, we got mostly guys who like, 80s rock. Let's play some 80s rock to get them amped up. You know what I mean? And let's stay away from the ratchet stuff or the stuff that might not make sense for that type of crowd. Even though the girls might want it, that's not what's working right now. So let's try to get some money or whatever. So yeah, it was a hard transition for me. But it's helping me. It's helping me with my announcing. It's helping me with my mic presence. I'm finding a voice now. Like I tell you all the time, man, like you're smooth when you get up there. Like it's all mostly the same stuff. You might say it a little bit differently each way, but it's how smooth you are saying it, and that's what makes like people not like cringe. You know what I'm saying? Like I watch some of these announcing videos, like when people are doing their wedding, the wedding party announcements, and I'm like, I would have a panic attack if I sounded like that. You know what I mean? Like I can't imagine these guys getting up there and being like, thinking that what they're doing is okay because it's not. And like then I hear other guys that are really good, and I'm like, that guy's amazing, or that girl's amazing at how they're able to just jump around and put things together and make it sound like you really rehearsed it. You know what I mean? Like I practice for 3 weeks saying two names. You know what I mean? And I'm like, is it Jared or Jared? And I'm like, what do you like to be called? And they're like, John. And I'm like, what? I didn't expect that. I didn't hear that. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, that's it's definitely it's a different realm of like like when you're. I feel like when you're in the club, you're DJing to be amped up, and when you're in the ballet, you're DJing to build nostalgic moments for people to want to spend money. Like I remember this. Like I like to try to like this song reminds me of that time with that girl, and this girl that's sitting next to me kind of reminds me of that girl. Or is the girl that I was trying to date, and I'm gonna go put money on stage on her.
Right.
But like Jackie,
there are definitely clubs where you can like get open. There's a few clubs out there that like the DJs really DJ.
and announce at the same time, or there's an MC?
And announce at the same time. But sometimes they
Yeah.
have like a separate guy. Like some of the bigger clubs have a guy that just does lights. So it just depends on like your market. You know,
Right.
our market, it doesn't really need
It's not that
any of
important.
that. You know what I
But
Right.
mean?
like Jackie was saying, like when it reading the room, sometimes playing Bon Jovi rather than the Tony Braxton just hits because even though the dancer wants the Tony Braxton, the Bon Jovi's hitting, and they're looking to pay for that.
Right.
You know,
You,
so
you can tell that
yeah,
Iron
because
Monkey ain't been in the strip club since the '90s because he was talking about
nah,
Tony Braxton.
yeah,
And
no, no.
Tony
I was just
Braxton,
making a point. I was just making a point because when he was saying like '80s, '90s rock, that's what I was saying. But nah, like I had a very, very short stint at the ballet, and it was just weird. I had to try to develop the voice and the enunciation and saying things very clearly and concise, but having a certain cadence. I, in my little stint, I was like, yeah, it's challenging. I don't know if this is for me, but you know what? I did it, and I'm good.
Yeah.
You know, like it was just a weird setting. It just wasn't for me.
so
Let's
we're up
call it
against it.
different.
So we're gonna get in. We're gonna get into it's top
Mm.
5 time as we come to that point of our show where we get into our top 5. This week on the top 5. One day there'll be
Yeah,
that's
the
the
top five
dance. That's the
dance.
top 5. Um, you know.
Are we
So
doing top?
this
Are
week
we
on the
doing
top
top
5,
five
we're
or
doing
top five hip
we're
hop?
doing the top 5. Your top 5 hip
Mm.
hop DJ.
Favorite DJs.
I narrowed it. I narrowed it down to top 5 hip hop DJs specifically because there's a million DJs out there, and I wanted to make it a little bit easier. But if you want to give your top 5 DJs overall, you could do that too. We lost you again. I don't know what you're doing over there. Man, just put us on speaker or something. He did say he was in his 40s, guys. Yeah,
If
you're
he's
still on.
like that sometimes.
Somehow, Treehorn muted itself again.
You might have to log out and log back in real quick.
All right, we're gonna wait for you to get back your mic. IronMonkey, go with your top 5 while we figure out the technical difficulties over here. You must not be using an iPhone.
Who, him?
Yeah,
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. But anyway, what's your top 5, IronMonkey?
All right. All right.
Just
So my top 5.
unmuted.
I'll give my top 5 real quick, and then I'll say my honorable mentions. So I'll say my number 5, and it was very interesting. He actually brought up the name DJ Scribbles. I remember back in the day, like DJ Scribbles, something like before he got on MTV, and that he had like there was an era when DJs used to have like mixes on actual record labels, and his mix was crazy. I forgot what it was called. You could probably find it on YouTube somewhere, but DJ Scribbles, number 5. Number 4, DJ Buck is my number 4 DJ. Um, just because of the person that he is, the way the music that he plays, the way he controls a room. DJ Buck is a general. He's solid. Number 3 for me is DJ Lefty because it was either DJ Lefty or Fred. But Lefty got the edge because for me, Lefty did basically all of our high school and middle school dances, but I actually knew him because my sister always used to have to take me when she used to have to when she wanted to hang out with her friend. Her friend was Susan. So Susan was like, well, look, yeah, bugaboo, yo, just go hang out with my brother. Susan's brother was Alan. Alan is DJ Lefty. So that's where he gets the edge from me. So, and then he rocks 45s. That's a skill in itself. You know, we was talking vinyls, but 45s is a totally different skill in itself. Number 2 for me, DJ Rock Raider, rest in peace. Now, when I started like really, really getting into DJing and what I wanted to do, Rock Raider and the Body Tricks and the whole Executioners or the X-Men, whatever what they were before they had to change it for legal purposes. Um, love that shit with Rock Raider. My number one, I was gonna go with DJ Red Alert, just for nostalgia purposes, being from New York, but I had to go with Kid Capri. You know, Kid Capri for me, hands down, DJs of all DJs, he's the man. So I'm gonna leave it at that. I don't know why somebody's playing music outside my door like they're trying to get my
Can we get your mic back?
Can you hear me? Yeah.
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 We got you.
It's funny. Two things are funny. One, I would have said every one of those names. Who was your number 5?
Number 5, and I said it was interesting that you brought him up, was DJ
Oh,
Scribbles.
Scribbles. Yeah, I wouldn't have had Scribbles on there, just for whatever reason. But yeah, I wasn't really thinking locals, but in my head, Buck is my number one. He was the guy that I looked up to. I had Summer Splash '99 in my car, not kidding, for 15 years straight. In the deck, 15 years when it that had 112 on it, it had Next on it. That was the year all that shit came out, and it was like, he was on the break of like I bought his mixtape somewhere in some bodega, whatever it was. It was by accident, but anyway. I was thinking more on a national level when we were talking, our top 5s or whatever. So I'm going to give a little bit of both. Okay. Number 5 would be probably Primo, because his production skills, along with the way that he can command a room, is important. Like, he's not just a technical DJ, he's not just a producer, and he's not just a party rocker. He can do it all. And so can Kid Capri. And again, it's funny you say Kid Capri, because like Kid Capri's not the cleanest DJ, but he can play 45s, he can play R&B, he can play soul, he can play funk, he can play everything and keep you engaged the entire time. And again, his mic work is there. Like, I've never been a DJ that was good at that. Shout out to Max Major, like he's one, or Ruckus. These guys that can, like, with phrasing and the way that they can MC, can get people to stop and go on the drop of a dime, right? And that's an important skill to have, right? So shout out to those guys. But so Primo, number 5. Number 4, I would probably say Z Trip, right? Because Z Trip is another one of those guys, so diverse. He knows music. His technical skills are charted. You know what I'm saying? But again, he's also a party rocker. I've listened to DJs like Cuba or some of those guys, and like, I can only listen for 10, 15 minutes. Like, there's only so many baby scratches and so many flares and so many things that I can listen to and be like, all right, I get it. And you're like the next level, but that's not that interesting to me. Primo, number 5, Z-Trip, number 4. Let's say number 3 is probably Scratch Bastard, because again, very diverse, very engaging, but also a super cool dude. Like, I messaged him one time and was like, my son thinks you're the shit. Like, everything, like everything you do is wholesome. And he messaged me back and said, I really appreciate that. Like, whatever, like, that's what this DJ thing's all about. Like, and he's a superstar. You don't have to do that shit. You know what I mean? And he's out there returning DM. So that's number 3. Number 2, gotta be Jazzy Jeff. Jazzy Jeff is one of the best, party rocker, again, humble dude, skills through the roof. And then number 1, that's hard. I only staggered those guys between 2 and 4 because I couldn't really put them at number 1. And I'll say number 1 as far as a local DJ instead has got to be DJ Nook. you know, and he's one of those guys that, again, when I get nervous when I play with him, you know, like when he's like, yo, let's go back to back. I'm like, nah, let's not, you know, let's play short sets, you know, let's do something, you do something, I'll get back. But like, he's when he turns off his brain and he just mixes records, it doesn't matter if it's vinyl or MP3s or turntables or whatever it is, he'll turn every knob on that console to make something sound different, to make it work. And it's, again, he's not always the cleanest DJ, but it's always eclectic. You know, he'll play the Pixies and then play Tony Braxton and then play Beyonce and then play the Supremes. And I'm like, I don't know how you just made that work, but to me, you did. So, you know, I would say that that's kind of a chopped up top five. You know, not to say that Nook's better than any of those other guys, but for me personally, I enjoy listening to him.
Hey, Daryl, real quick, I gotta be right back. I don't know who's playing music outside my door, but I gotta take care of that real quick. I'll be right back.
Man, don't hurt nobody, dog. All right, he's muted. He's gonna go see what's happening. I'm gonna get into my top five real quick. I got a couple honorable mentions because like you, Treehorn. I was thinking like more like international type dudes or dudes that's like, you know what I mean, a little bit on a bigger scale. But definitely, you know, Buck is like, you know what I mean, top 10 guy for me. Like, he's the dude that I saw locally. One of the first dudes I saw locally, like DJ. And I was like, this dude's fucking nice. And he's a good dude. Every time I see Buck, and we don't really talk often, but whenever I see Buck's like, yo, what up, D? What's going on? Everything is like real smooth. And then when I was in Canada DJing at this spot called 112, used to be the old Don Cherries. All my Detroit cats know about Don Cherries back in the day. But DJ to a T, this dude did some of the most amazing shit with CDJs and shit like that. And he was actually one of the first dudes I seen that had a virtual setup. And just a super dope DJ up in Canada. If you're in Windsor, go check him out. For me, number 5 is going to be DJ Epps. I think he's out of Miami. Party guy, big name guy down in Miami. Really rocks the show. His mixtapes are super dope. And I'm gonna move through mine kind of fast because, like, for me, it's just about like when I'm listening to the radio and these dudes come on, I don't change the station. You know what I mean? I'm rocking with these dudes super hard. Number 4 on my list is Clark Kent. Super producer, super DJ. I used to listen to his mix show all the time when he was on the radio back in the day. Also RIP Clark Kent. For me, number 3 is Fred, man. I never wanted yellow turntables in my entire life until I used to see Fred rocking the party with the yellow turntables, man. Fred made me want to do tricks. You know what I mean? And I was like, yo, Fred, and again, a guy that I know personally, you know, so he's at number 3. Like, if you get an opportunity to go to a party, if you got 4 parties and Fred is DJing one of those parties, you want to end your night wherever Fred's at. And I'll just leave it at that. Number 2 for me is Kid Capri, king of the drop cut. You know what I mean? I seen Kid Capri live. He punched the dude in the face at the Strand one time.
Was that the Rakim show?
Nah, this was just a Kid Capri night, and he was doing a booty shake contest. Some dude got mad that his girl was shaking her ass too beautifully on stage, I guess, and he ran up on Kid Capri and got mollywopped by security and Kid Capri, and it was an interesting night. I was real young. It happened like 20 years ago, so whatever. But shout out to Kid Capri, super dope on the mic, all that. Number 1 for me is Jazzy Jeff, man. Like, I seen Jazzy Jeff live a couple times. The dude is like a pioneer, and he's still nice. Like, sometimes like the older dudes, like, they still doing the old cuts, and you know what I mean. Like, you don't feel like they've really like evolved as much from a technical standpoint. But I feel like Jazzy Jeff, like he was one of the first people to be on Serato. You know what I mean? He was, you know what I mean? He's always with the new technology. And if you go watch him right now, he's gonna fucking tear it down. Yeah. So, you know what you get when you get into a Jazzy Jeff party. You know, I've had a chance to see him like perform live, and it's like watching Jordan. You know what I mean? Like for me.
Mm.
So
And,
that's
I'm mad that I put Scribbles at my 5 when Jazzy Jeff should have really made my list, because he kind of missed my reasoning with the Scribbles, because his thing my thing was is at that time a lot of record labels would drop in DJ mixes like with Funk Flex and like different DJs, and his was just different from all of his. So that's where like he kind of made the list, because
man, don't try to roll
Jazzy
back to
Jeff
the top five now, dog. Look at you. This is
no,
being
no. Well,
political about your top five.
he was an honorable mention for me.
And
Right.
the other reason why Jazzy Jeff is at the top of my list is because he was on TV, dog. He was DJing and he had an acting career and he got a Grammy.
And he's
Yeah,
underground still. He still produces tracks for people you've never heard of before, and he plays house music. Like this Jazzy just he, like you said, he's a pioneer. He pushes the boundaries. Dude, I watched the video with him when he plays a sample from Shook Ones, and he's playing the original sample.
Yeah,
goosebumps thinking about it, and the whole room knows exactly what's about to happen before it even happens, and he's just teasing them with that boom, and when it finally hits, the whole room is just like everybody was breathing at the same time. And you know what? You talk about Buck, like Buck's the same way. You walk in a room full of people. I've showed up at the club when Buck was locked in. And as you're walking through, you can even walk through the crowd because everybody's moving the same way. As long as you get the rhythm, you understand it. And he's in that pocket all night long, and that's a real DJ. And you talked about Funk Flex, like 60 minutes of funk, every volume. I loved all that shit, but he's a terrible DJ. You know what I mean? Like he's not a good DJ. So like
he's not worse than Khaled though.
I don't know. Him, Mustard, all them guys are they're all just as bad. And it's like, you look up to him.
Young Khaled.
Nah, though.
Not even. No,
that shit that he's doing when he like he's videoing himself cutting records is just, it hurts my feelings, man.
It's weird, but not to cut you off, but we are at the end. Treehorn, thank you for coming on. Give us everywhere where we can find you.
I'm typically at Primo's in Fall River on Fridays. Bounce around on Saturdays. Maybe Hennessy's in Boston. Liberty Hotel. This week, I'm actually at the cannabis event on the 18th and the 19th. That's Friday, Saturday from 12 to 6 at Solar in Warwick. I'll be there both days. I'm at Marasco's this Saturday night. So if you're in the Cranston area, stop in. It's some R&B, hip hop vibes. Yeah, that's it, man. I got a brunch coming up starting in Fall River on the 27th, I think. That's a Sunday. That's going to be catered to the 30 plus event. Like you talk about day parties, I'll have you down there sometime this summer. It's going to be, we need places that we can go and enjoy ourselves and not have to be in the hustle and bustle of a nightclub. But yeah, that's it for now, man. And I really appreciate you guys bringing me on here. I always enjoy kind of getting myself out of the box and looking at new platforms and enjoying myself.
Super dope, man. Thank you for coming on, man. Treehorn, Jackie Treehorn on all the socials.
I am Jackie Treehorn on Instagram, and then I don't have Snapchat or any of that stuff.
I am Jackie Treehorn on the Instagram. Go give the man a follow. Make sure you follow us and hit that like and subscribe button on the YouTube. Follow us on all the social medias. I'm DJ Caveman. That's DJ IronMonkey and the world famous Jackie motherfucking Treehorn in the building, guys. We'll catch y'all next week. And, Pistons in 5.